Let's run through some multiple choice questions on our enterprise risk management. A company owns and operates multiple businesses in the Caribbean. Management has identified interruptions in normal operations as a potential risk resulting from storm damage caused by hurricanes. Recognizing this, the company decides to treat the potential damage as a part of its business model. The company's response to this potential risk is known as what? Good question. Well, we have our 4 approaches to risk. Do we reduce it? Do we share it? Do we avoid it? Do we accept it? Let's revisit these points that you've seen in the lecture. Well, risk reduction, this would be in, let's say this hurricane example. What would be a risk reduction situation? Well, if we decided to barricade our building when a storm came, right? We put sandbags up. If we essentially did anything physical to alleviate the damage here. So we work to reduce it, or maybe we segmented out a part of this office to 1-2 hours away to, again, potentially reduce that risk. What about risk sharing? Risk sharing in this example would be if we were to get an insurance policy. That insurance policy allows us to share the risk with the insurance company because we are not paying out all of it if we get damage from a hurricane. The insurance company has to pay out part of the damages. So that's sharing the risk with another party. Risk avoidance would be completely just uprooting yourself and saying, we don't want to deal with this risk. We're going to avoid it. We're going to go, let's say this is a Florida business and we're moving over to Colorado. Completely avoiding any risk having to do with hurricanes. We are out of there. And lastly, risk acceptance. This is kind of what it's mentioning here. We decide to treat the potential damage as a part of its business model. We accept it, right? Like knowing you have a business in New York City means you accept that you're probably going to have high rent costs and long commute times for your workers. Having a business in Florida means you accept that you're probably going to have hurricanes, and California, probably earthquakes, right? Just different risks having your businesses in different parts of the country. Final answer is risk acceptance. According to the COSO of the Treadway Commission, remember COSO is the Committee on Sponsoring Organizations created by the Treadway Commission, which of the listed components of ERM address an entity's commitment to core values? Now, if you remember, we memorized, or we're working on memorizing, a lot of our ERM components, and as such, there are certain keywords and key phrases that should trigger specific ones in your mind. Here, I see commitment to core values. And this is an immediate, I'll call it red flag, trigger word, something that brings to mind immediately one of our answers. And that is going to be governance and culture. And straight up, this is very much a memorization-based question. This is a key phrase associated with governance and culture, similar to tone from the top. If this said tone from the top, I would also choose governance and culture. All of these have key phrases, keywords that you want to memorize and associate with each respective component. Definitely work on memorizing those and you'll do super well. Next up, a manufacturer. So we've got our risks again. What do? Do we share it, reduce it, accept it, or avoid it? A manufacturer actively monitors a foreign country's political events whenever supply chain disruption occurs within the country that exceeds 90 days. According to the COSO Enterprise Risk Management Principles, the manufacturer is following which of the following risk response strategies? Okay, well, we're actively monitoring the political events. Are we getting out of that country? Are we abandoning that country? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't seem to be the case, so I would cross out avoidance. Are we getting any sort of insurance policy, or are we doing anything to put some of that risk on another party? I don't believe so either, so I would cross off share. What about reduce? Are we doing anything to alleviate that risk? We're just monitoring it. Are we trying to negotiate with the government? What's going on? Really nothing. There's nothing to indicate it would be a reduction. As such, we're monitoring it. That's not really doing anything. That's just accepting it as a part of our business. It's an inherent risk in our business now. Reduction, that's going to take action to reduce a risk, whereas acceptance, this is just saying, okay, we're okay with it, and maybe not, we're not okay with it, but it's just a part of our business, and that's just how it's going to be from now on. According to the COSO Enterprise Risk Management Framework, each of the following is considered by management as part of a risk assessment, except which? Okay, well, one of these is just not a term. That's just one of my straight up answers. One of these is not really a term we're going to deal with at all. Let's run through these. Well, immediately I see inherent risk, and this is the most clear standout. This is definitely an actual risk. Just like that question with our foreign country with possible political instability, that's just an inherent risk in your business. It's a risk that just exists and you can't really do much about it. So this is for sure considered by management as a part of risk assessment. Now, actual residual risk and target residual risk, these as well. These would be risks to remember and memorize as a part of our risk assessment under our COSO mnemonic, right? This is under risk assessment. All of these, again, kind of going back to the key phrases, are risk assessments that you should do. These all are specifically mentioned to be risks per our risk assessment part component of our framework. Unknown risk is not a term, it's a trick answer here. Lots of memorization, but you will do well. That is your best friend on this exam. According to COSO, which of the following provides oversight of an entity's enterprise risk management? Okay, so COSO is created by the Treadway Commission, Committee on Sponsoring Organizations. Once they made their framework, they said one of these four answers is to oversee the ERM framework for that particular company. And who is that? Well, is it the financial executives? Not the financial executives. These would have more. These individuals would be more concerned with profitability and keeping the company running, not as much with the risk there. You might think it's the risk officer. However, this isn't really a individual we are going to talk about it all in the exam. That's a trick answer. And that leaves us with just management and the board of directors. Well, each party has their own requirements and responsibilities for an organization. Financial executives, as I was saying, they are more concerned with profitability. Management is involved with managing, keeping the lights on. And the board of directors, the key word for board of directors is they are a fiduciary. Their job is to act in the best interest of the company. I mean, hopefully everyone else does that, but for sure the board of directors have to act as fiduciaries. With that being said, it is their job to provide oversight of the ERM for that company. So not management. It is, in fact, the board of directors. So again, lots of COSO questions. Super important here. This group is the fiduciary, which is a trusted individual or trusted group for that company. Great. Which of the following positions best describes the nature of the board of directors of XYZ company's relationship to the company? Well, similar to what we just saw, really beating this to death here, are the board of directors representatives, executives, agents, or fiduciaries? Now, straight up, I would just say fiduciary is the crystal clear standout answer here. And that's what I'm going to go with for sure. It's fiduciary. Fiduciary relationship is a legal or ethical relationship of trust between two people, organizations, or other parties. It's for sure fiduciary, and the board needs to have the company's best interest in mind. All of these others, sure. Are they representatives of the company? Sure. Possibly agents. Are they executives? But the crystal clear-cut answer is fiduciary. This is the number one key trigger word that should come to your mind when you think or see board of directors. Which of the following components of review and revision, back in our COSO again, asks the question, did the firm manage risk properly and did we hedge well? All right. Again, we've got our components of COSO in our review and revision. Which component asks, did the firm manage risk properly and did we hedge well? Well, it is going to be one of these. Again, memorization based, so I'm not going to pick letter D. Okay. What about reviews, risk, and performance? I'm going to say that's the answer, but let's look at the others. Assesses substantial change. Not there. And again, this is memorization based, but if we think about this as well, did we manage risk and hedge well? Changes? Not really. This sounds like a better answer anyway. Letter A. Not to say that I would take the risk of just being able to think about this on the exam. Again, I would memorize it. Pursues improvement in ERM. Not really what we're looking for as well there. We're concerned with, did we manage risk well? Well, review risk and performance. Did we hedge well? So I would go with letter A here. Awesome. Awesome. Which of the following is focused on sustainable operating profit for ongoing procedures? All right, so as a company, we have these 4 value actions. We have value creation, erosion, preservation, and realization. Let's think of a technology company. Well, we have value creation, and this is us creating a wonderful product. This is a new, innovative, hot product that is now all of a sudden the biggest seller of the year. Everyone's buying it. Erosion, this is when that product stops becoming as hot and on the top of the market. Value preservation, this is one. It's kind of like the business cycle, right? We've got expansions, troughs, peaks. There we go. And with this, essentially it's the same thing. We've got value creation, preservation is trying to keep it going, realization is at the top. What is going on here, though? Which is focused on sustainable operating profit for ongoing procedures? Well, sustainability is the key word here. Value creation is super important, but it's not sustainable. You create something and then you preserve it. Erosion for sure is not going to be the answer. That's not, this is it on the decline. Value realization, this is at the peak. We are not doing sustainability here. Value preservation is for sure going to be our answer. That is our final answer here. Value preservation focuses on taking what is created in value creation and making it as sustainable as possible. And that will do it. Great batch of questions here in our ERM, Enterprise Risk Management Framework. Hope you all enjoyed these questions, and thank you for joining today. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.